Hello, Steve here. Welcome to Real Health. Who'd have thought health is about what we're eating? Join me on my quest to disseminate my go-to health regimen, the Health 44, my clumsy branding of eliminating 4 classes of food, introducing 4 classes of micronutrients. Bingo, bongo, health sorted. So thank you for your interest. Let's do this. Welcome again. Today you've clicked on why is there 60 essential minerals. You can extrapolate that into why there's 90 declared essential micronutrients, which I often, always rabbit on about. So why there is 60 minerals is because they are present, they always have been present in the human body as far back as we could discover, take biopsies, imaging in recent times, cremation studies that we've done, that's going back a while. Also, other imaging techniques like spectrometry type techniques. There's all this complex sort of stuff that you can discover live tissue, and obviously with dead tissue as well. So I had this discussion with ChatGPT, and it didn't enlighten me, but also it did. The part where I was enlightened is just, well, the experts say. Well, the experts said in, say, 1900, iodine. What do you need iodine for? And then 1920, ooh, I think we need iodine. All this goiter going around. And then by something like 1940 or so, iodine, or was it the 30s? Iodine started. They started putting iodine in table salt, or fortifying table salt, to get some iron into the population. God damn it! And it's still quite rudimentary. So ChatGPT suggested to me, indicated to me that there's 13 declared minerals, and I had a discussion with all these different questions, and it wasn't enlightening. Where, well, the experts say there's got to be consensus. It's got to be scientifically accepted to be deemed essential. There's strict criteria, don't you know? While we are waiting for the experts, the scientists, the consensus to come out and deliberate and fight for 5 years to have one paper included in a journal, and we should all continue to supplement with 60 minerals, and above all that, 90 declared essential micronutrients as a whole. There's 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 essential fatty acids that make up the whole 90 declared essential micronutrients complex. And I asked it, how many essential vitamins are there? Well, the experts say 13. Well, how about this and this and this? Well, it's just not deemed, it's just not declared essential. If our bodies have it, shouldn't we have it? Well, it doesn't meet the criteria where if you have a deficiency in that particular vitamin or mineral, that it causes a deficiency-enabled disease. So how can you find this out? Well, consensus. But what if I used bone as an example? Well, you know that ChatGPT, you know that bone has things like silicon and boron that are deemed not essential in part of your 13 list. Oh yes, that's right. That's right. And it acknowledges that boron is important for crystallizing magnesium and calcium to form, what is it? The matrix, the structure of bone formation and regeneration. And it just said, well, although it's important, the experts say it's not deemed essential because we get it in our food. Well, we also get calcium in our food and it's deemed essential. So why shouldn't boron and silicon as well, I use them as the example, be, and silicon metabolizes vitamin D, magnesium, calcium. So that's the role of silicon. And right, so shouldn't silicon and boron also be included because it's included in bone in us now? Well, the experts say that it's not deemed essential because you get it in nuts. But what if you don't eat nuts? Well, you get it from other foods. Chasing your tail, GPT. And GPT is not a thinking being. We haven't yet achieved general intelligence with AI. It can pass the bar exam. It can pass medical exams. But AI is a language predicting tool. And under all that, it's character predicting, just like a calculator is numeric predicting. So it is still quite rudimentary, and it's just copying the whole corpus of human endeavor, human thought, human literature in particular fields, medicine, law, and the like. Okay, and it just proved to me in that discussion, because there's not going to be any PhD that wants to talk to me or anything. There's PhDs on social media that we all get access to, and there's this one PhD which talks about a myriad of different health topics, and the bald, wrinkling, the liver-spotted PhD, I call him. Mate, you better get some tin, some selenium, some zinc into you, because you haven't got long to go the way you're going. Sorry to be a little bit narky. There's I call the fat Harvard nutritionist and the fat balding GP that's on social media, and it's asinine what I see. And that example with a chat GPT discussion is, wow, enlightening, but also unenlightening. Enlightening in our ignorance while the experts are deliberating, while they're taking their time. They're not, because all the gun-hos are into the genetic therapy space, because there's probably trillions going into the development of that industry, field of study, whatever you want to call it. Even though there might be some genetic therapy out there which is deemed successful, no, it won't be. It won't be if you try it in all humans and animals as their tests. If it doesn't work in all animals suffering from that gene defect or whatever, then it doesn't solve the issue with all those particular defected beings, then no, it's not. There's no efficacy. And the reason why there's no efficacy is because we're not made up of the same minerals. While they are also the last mineral that was deemed essential was in 1950 or so. 1950, 75-ish years ago. Just trying to think, what was it? While that hopefully comes to me, vitamins. The last declared essential vitamin was choline, 1998. But it was starting to be expressed as essential back in the 70s. So that's that sort of indication. Or choline, is that vitamin B8 when you classify, in the B complex and that sort of thing. What was the last mineral? Iodine. It was iodine. The last mineral declared essential was iodine. After starting in 1920, it was deemed essential in 1950. If that is the pace we're going at, and our life expectancy is going to go down, not up. It's only been going up because childbirth is an emergency procedure now. Yes, thank goodness for allopathic medicine, mainstream healthcare complex. Great. But when it comes down to essential micronutrients to ward off chronic disease, autoimmune disease, cancers, and death, minerals. What was another thing I asked ChatGPT? The points made. It was silly. It always came back to there's no consensus. It's not declared. So we're going to wait around to see the possibility of, say, the boron and the silicon examples that I used. I also chucked in there arsenic. Arsenic was also found in uncontaminated animals and humans before arsenic was used in modernized industrialization. And I just said, well, the experts say arsenic, it's in small amounts. So it still should be essential because it's been deemed pretty important for growth in vertebrates as a whole. Just because we can't, no one has the energy because it's fruitless, the way the scientific academic complex is set up is you better get a grant because you're not going to get any independent money, and you're also poor. That's why you're putting in grants to being involved. And if you don't get involved in particular fields of interest where the grant money is going towards, well, you're stuffed. And before grant money was becoming available to the whole scientific academic complex, scientists were doing it off their own back, in the garage, in the university lab, financed by private funders and students, of course. So if while we're waiting for the example of silicon boron to become declared essential for the mainstream, I and all of you better still take the 60 declared minerals, or you'll just die at the average age of 80. That's what they're saying. Just start looking around you. It's not even 80, even if you look around you, in my not so humble opinion, but there is Arnie Ethel that's dying at the age of 93. But how about Georgie? 57. So I've said this often. Here's my prediction: with every century that we exist, our life expectancy is going to drop 5 years. We've done the heavier lifting with the infant mortality rates, which really cuts down on years lived, doesn't it? So that's easy pickings for us to reach the age of 80 as an average, where it used to be 40 around the year 1900, where childbirth was horrendous. The experimentation with doctors and 1850 life expectancy was 80, it's believed. And yeah, so we better keep on taking those 60 minerals, which I declared essential via veterinary science. These days, I'm going half a century back, but these days, even veterinary science doesn't acknowledge 60 essential minerals because, let's face it, our food-producing animals have got a pretty short life. Chickens, 5 or 6 weeks on your plate. We're eating fattened up chicks. Cows, is it 2 years? I don't know, but the life cycle is a bit more. But I discovered chicken feed is gone from corn to back to wheat because how is it cheaper when per bushel? Anyway, it's just wheat containing, and yeah, if you only need to live 5 weeks as a broiler chicken, it doesn't matter. But for longevity, we better be taking in those 60 minerals. Okay. Yes. In the past, I've just been rabbiting off as if it's common knowledge that there's not 60 declared minerals and 90 declared essential micronutrients. But the consensus, the professionals, the scientists, the yada yada. Are you kidding me? Are we going to wait half a century for each new discovery? It's asinine. So before we got contaminated, we discovered that vertebrates contain 60 minerals in them. The ones that were alive. The ones that are dead and diseased, lacking or absent one or more of the essential 60 minerals. And the reason why I centered on minerals instead of the whole 90 declared essential micronutrients is because minerals are required to make the other vitamins, amino acids, and essential fatty acids work. And when I was asking, what are all the other declared mainstream essential micronutrients? It only then listed the 13 declared vitamins. Oh, well, how about the essential amino acids and essential fatty acids? Then it listed 9 instead of 12 amino acids, and it did mention the omega-3 and omega-6, as in the ALA and the LA derivative, which are the essential ones, and the DHA, EPA are important, but not essential. So even in the methodology that I prescribe to, and I subscribe to the populace, yes, even though, hey, DHA, we get DHA, how come isn't that's not essential? Well, it's part of the ALAs are contained in those. So anyway, so that's just a eye opener to include, rather than just going off autopilot. That there's 90 declared essential micronutrients. Well, there's a lot less in the mainstream, but there must be a lot more. Otherwise, we'll continue to be fat and balding and getting heart attacks. With vanadium, important in not getting obese, and tin in balding, and boron, and you need others too, but tin is in male pattern baldness is high occurrence. Some quick examples: heart attacks, the whole cardiovascular disease and myocardial infarctions. You better get selenium and vitamin E into you, or you'll be at risk. Cholesterol, no, not a risk. We need cholesterol. So that's a few little tidbits to whet the appetite that the rest of the world, needs to supplement with 90 declared essential micronutrients, because our food supply chain is stuffed. Our farming lands, our farming soils are getting depleted after every harvest and after every season where there's no flooding. And each carrot, each lettuce that gets taken out, there's less minerals in the soil. If the minerals aren't in our food, they don't end up into... If the minerals aren't in the soil, they don't end up in the food, and they don't end up into us. And as part of what I prescribe for the world in nutrition and health is the Health 44, 4 classes of food that we need to eliminate to aid in absorption and overall health. Eliminate glutens, oils, sugars, nitrates, and then add those 4 declared micronutrient categories: 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 essential fatty acids. And then in a short time, at least give yourself 3 or 4 months to start feeling the benefits. It takes longer for overall ultimate health, but it comes once you're digesting and absorbing it. That is the quick prescription that I encourage for the world, and for the one-off listeners that I needed to just slip that in there, the Health 44. So, point done, and bye-bye. Thank you.